My name is Adam Schultz. My partner, Danvers, Fleury here. We're here to tell you a little bit about RetainEd and ask for a couple of favors, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, just wanted to tell you a little bit about us. I personally have been a part of this startup community for 10 years. So I've seen a lot change. I've been on the receiving side of advising, the giving side of advising, and even recruited my business partner here from Carborough UNC 6 years ago for us to start building startups. So it's kind of fun and awesome to be able to sit in front of this community as it is now and ask you all to help us out, which just feels good. So I thank you all for that. I'll give it over to Danvers for a bit.
Thanks. Can I have that? Sure. Super. So ultimately, there's just a really simple challenge we're tackling, which is that training is totally broken and generally doesn't work ever. So when you look at the statistics, 90% of all training is forgotten the first day back to work. So in America, that means $120 billion just kind of set on fire the first day after a training, and pretty much all of it set on fire 30 days after a training. It's rough sledding. That also equates to 15% churn. You've got a lot of companies where people just aren't successfully onboarding and getting the skills that they need. And probably most importantly, in manufacturing and food processing settings, it can lead to injury and even death. So this is a big deal. It goes past just numbers. And the big question is, why is this happening? Why doesn't training usually work? And from the companies that we've worked with as consultants, we generally find that the trainers there are awesome. They're engaging, they know their stuff, they have the right relationships, and the content that employees are working with is also equally excellent. They've got the facts that they need. So what's missing? In our opinion, it's a knowledge retention system. So, when you're trying to learn something, you can't just learn it over a weekend training. You need to master it over time. And at most organizations, what you don't have the day after a training is the time to do anything. It's not allocated. We worked with multiple tens of thousands of person company whose average amount of follow-up time that they allowed folks for training after they received the training was about 9 minutes total. That's it. When you don't have structure or a path to follow, it's also really hard to retain knowledge. And ultimately, if you're not held accountable for mastering it, and your supervisor, your trainer, your boss isn't held accountable to support you, things never really take off. So training is broken until now. Thanks for helping me out on that. So RetainEd. RetainEd is a mobile learning retention platform. For learners, it's a lot like Duolingo. You've got something on your phone for 5 minutes a day, whatever the skill or talent you're trying to master, you're given a refresh, you're given an opportunity to play with it. For trainers, it's like a CRM. So you have this list of everybody that you're engaged with, that you're trying to facilitate their excellence, and you're getting an alert. They're not engaged. They're struggling with information, and they've asked for help. This is unique on the marketplace in that we're allowing trainers to build opinionated content platforms, an app for their special form of training. Users are given the opportunity to learn in between the structure of their day. And ultimately, by allowing trainers to deliver just-in-time training to help people when they need it, we're improving efficacy, but also creating a revenue stream that doesn't cannibalize their current revenue base. The way we're building this is really neat. On the student side, we're working with the department at NC State in the highly regulated space of food safety, so that the quality of the educational system is being tested greatly. On the trainer side, we're actually working with an offshore oil rigging company and one of their trainers who's working with folks over 3,000 miles away with no means of physical contact. So we're sort of stress testing both ends of this platform to make sure that it can stand up to the normal needs of the vast majority of clients that we would be servicing. And I'm going to pitch it back to Adam so he can actually show you guys our brand new demo.
We're in developing the platform we're developing right now for NC State. We do have a little bit that we can show you, so long as We're up and running. Let me go over here, give me just a moment. And I'll just speak to you from here so that I'm not worried about a particular piece of technology. So imagine that you're sitting at a food processing facility. You're the manager of a particular floor. Let's say that it's poultry processing or fish processing or something like that. Your manager is you've received this training. The trainer has set everyone up who received that training with an application, and every day or every other day, your phone goes off at the time of day that you told it to go off. Maybe it's 8:55, maybe it's 9 o'clock, maybe it's 9:15. But you've told us when you want to receive your daily challenge. You get your daily challenge, and it comes into your phone. You press the button, you say, yeah, I'm ready to begin my particular challenge. I'm on Unit 2, Day 4. I'm going through and actively practicing my skills at inspecting facilities. And so I come through, I'm told, okay, we're going to review the particular procedures. I take some time, read through it, refresh my familiarity with what the actual rules are, and I'm presented with an opportunity to say, hey, does this, if you walked into this room, would this pass inspection? And in this particular instance, it would. Say, okay, great, everyone's got enough space to work. So whether you get it right or wrong, you get some feedback. In this one, we're asking employees are bumping into each other on a regular basis. Well, that can actually be bad, but let's say I get it wrong. And it says, oh, that's incorrect. This probably indicates a lack of space for employees to move around effectively. Try that again. You say, okay, all right, it is a violation. I get it now. We still know that they got it wrong the first time, but they get the opportunity to get it right. Go through again, and that's it. We familiarized ourselves with the material, we were reminded again and given an opportunity to practice something that we should be looking out for every day in our jobs, that if we didn't have that opportunity to be reintroduced to this content, when we're walking around and we're in a bad situation, we might not otherwise recognize that as unsafe and we might not know to blow the whistle. But now, because this person received this training on this day, weeks after they originally presented with the information, the likelihood that they're able to intercede and apply the knowledge they're supposed to have goes up tenfold. Let's go back to the presentation. And our ask for you today is actually pretty simple. We've got our core demo, we've got our underlying base technology, and what we're looking for right now are introductions. We're looking to capitalize on the network that you all maybe have and build out, just a second. There we go. Build out our pilot participants. So we've got a couple lined up, but we're looking for more. So if you guys have a company, have an organization that's involved in training, if training could be a part of your service offering, if you yourself are a coach and provide training to folks, or if you know people who are in this space or could potentially use it, we're looking for introductions. Some of the spaces that we're looking to explore right now, of course, are corporate training and organizational development, fairly self-explanatory. Another space we're looking at is software onboarding and training. So for anyone who provides software training, a lot of times you've got that initial little demo that pops up the first time you're engaging with a piece of software, if it's been really well designed. Well, that's great, and that'll get them up and running initially, but when they're actually digging in, putting in their data, struggling with the information, trying to get it to do what they want, it's weeks after that initial introduction. So by using a platform like ours, you can provide some training that these folks are actually able to be engaged with and test and reminded of how to do certain things, so that way when the time comes that they actually need to do it with their own product, they've got that information already in their minds. Also looking to explore healthcare training and patient education. So if you think of someone maybe goes out and after a surgery, there's a certain amount of follow-up information they're going to need. Right now a nurse walks in, hands them some printed out PDFs and says, good day. When they leave the hospital, they're on their own. We think that this platform could be utilized for follow-up medical care, as well as potentially asking the patient how they're feeling and delivering that information back to a physician. Are you receiving any headaches? Are you suffering from this side effect, that side effect? Potentially creating a life-saving intervention from a doctor to their patient. So we think there's a lot of opportunity for this platform, and what we ask is that you write down my email address, adam@verifiedstudios.com, and if you, in conversation, as you're networking, as you're thinking about it, if you come across people even who this might be valuable to, send them my way. Any questions or thoughts?
Sir.
My question is, who develops the content for your training?
It's a great question. It's a two-part process. Almost every trainer or content expert that we work with has base content, and then we have educational designers that help them transform it into drip content. Sir.
I hope this isn't too impertinent, but like with that really low knowledge retention rate, is a big part of that like people don't actually care what they learn. Like they just showed up because their boss said they had to go to this thing, and like if that's a big part of the problem, like how does your app sort of get to that, or can you imagine somebody just like absentmindedly tapping through until they get the right answer?
No, that's not impertinent at all. It's actually a core of our business model. There are certain trainings that just no one wants to go to and people don't pay attention to. Our current beachhead is health and safety, where dollars and lives are on the line. And in basically high dollar value areas where it's related to operations. And so you'll notice that the demo that Adam showed you was sort of doing work at work. It's really, really hard to measure training efficacy within a workplace environment because a lot of your variables are scrambled. And so we're generally focusing on simulation-based learning of areas that businesses strategically know are at the core of earning dollars. And so at that point, from an accountability perspective, management really cares about that. They're going to be looking at scores, and you're sort of turning things on their head from looking at things that people have to do to things that people need to do in order to be profitable or safe. Sir?
Are you trying to integrate this as part of the company's official onboarding process, or is this more of this trainer is taking a very particular interest in making sure his trainees are doing well, so I'm going to go out of my way to interact with your platform, develop this new course material, and push it out to my students? Or are you trying, or is this more from the company's perspective where they mandate to their trainer saying, hey, there's this really cool app out there that we think would improve our onboarding process, go use it? What's your approach to that?
That's a great question. At this point, and this is our beachhead market, we're really focused on independent trainers making apps that are branded as their content. Part of their sales channel strategy is going to be to brand that as the company that they're working with. And I would see this generally starting with outside trainers and then focus on working with the inside talent development agencies within larger organizations in order to get that more systemic approach that you're talking about. From a demo perspective, it would be very difficult for us to say, hey, here's your new training operating system. It's much easier to take it case by case, have people wow, look at the new results and say, you know, maybe we should make a change. It's a great question. Anything else? Thank you for your time, guys. This was really special. Thanks.